Hey, rail fans and model railroaders. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Back on Track with Steve
and Rexy.
Now, the last several videos, we've been laying a lot of track. And on the last one, we laid track from the peninsula all the way down to the Truss Bridge.
So this week, we'll be going from the Truss Bridge all the way across the swing bridge to complete the loop.
Now, we're going to make sure to incorporate some re-railers to assist with the transition both on and off of that swing bridge. And we found on the outer loop that was really helpful and really made a good solid track work for us. So with that being said,
let's get this work done.
After I test fit my pieces in, I found I could once again use a few 9-inch pieces of track on the straight areas and save some of our flex track for the lower elevation loop. Now you might have noticed that I did not remove the ties off the joint ends this time. I usually do so I don't accidentally melt the ties during soldering, but I thought I would test my skills and try it on this section. I think I might be getting a little bit better at the soldering as I didn't melt the ties this time. So this first section fits across the swing bridge and uses two re-railer sections. The Luan panel piece I cut to fit between the rails helps ensure good alignment across the joints. The second section fills in the gap from where the turnout is and the swing bridge. And here we're going to include another re-railer. And then the final section is just two 9-inch pieces that fills the gap right after the curved section. So now we're ready to install. So we're going to be using that latex caulk and apply a bead all the way down, and then we're going to spread it across the cork real thin and even. Now we can begin placing the track into place, and we're going to use lots of pins because it keeps it secure and flat during the dry time. And of course, as we've said before, the caulk comes out white, but it'll cure clear, and you can see it on the other tracks we've already laid. We're making sure to use that Luan piece. We want to keep everything nice and straight. And we're centering it on the cork as we go. And then the final piece running up to the swing bridge that has the re-railer. As we get to the swing bridge, we're transitioning from foam underneath the cork to having plywood under the cork, so I can't really push the pins in there real well. So I got to tap those in place, but I'm also going to use some rail spikes in the re-railer positions where you're going on and off, because that way we can make sure the track will stay put during use when we're opening and closing the gates all the time. So far, everything's looking pretty good, going according to plan. Lots of pins. And then onto the final piece of track. Now, I wanted to use a re-railer in this position like we did on the outer loop. However, I didn't leave quite enough space between the crossover and the end of the where the swing bridge starts. So I'm going to try and use just another piece of track in this location. And I figure later, if it's causing us some issues and some problems, I can go ahead and cut the track, slide those crossovers down just a tiny bit, and fit a re-railer into that position. But with any luck at all, These will stay in place and they'll line up just fine and won't cause us any issues. And here it is, all nice and dry, and I can get back to my favorite activity of removing all of those tacks. I wish I could work this fast in real time. And then on to testing the track. Without power, I can't run a locomotive across here, but I can use one of my box cars and I can run it over all the joints to see that it runs nice and smooth, make sure that all of the tracks line good, and check the heights at the joints.
Well, there you go. We got the track laid all the way from the truss bridge on across the swing bridge to complete the second main line.
Now, we don't have any power applied to the track in that area yet, so we're unable to run a loco through there to test out the track, but we did use a box car to check the alignment of the rails, and it seemed pretty good.
So going forward in the next video, we're going to get some electrical applied to that track, and that way we can finally start running some trains on those two lines.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be great.
Fun. So in the meantime, you guys have a good time running your trains and working on your layouts.
Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified of our next video.
And we'll see you next time back here on Getting Back on Track with Steve
And Roxy. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.